what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Garnett-Tools. This is the Snap-on ECARB042 400 lumen convertible work light. It's a pretty nice light for what it's worth, but what if you, like many, are unable to wrap your head around the over $120 price tag? Well, in that case, Amazon has you covered with their shameless Snap-on ripoff. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe if you're not already and hit that bell to be notified of all my latest uploads. The reason the Snap-on can command such a high price tag is not just because it bears that golden Snap-on logo, but it's also because they were able to pack so many features hidden just beneath the surface. Aside from having a 270-degree folding work light that emerges from the body of the unit, a top-mounted spotlight that's going to be 300 lumens, a variable dimmer for the work light that allows you to adjust from 100 all the way up to 400 lumens, a 3 to 6 hour runtime depending on the brightness level. There are other things that just make this light a cut above the rest. For starters, it has a charge indicator that automatically turns itself off. The folding work light I mentioned before has 9 different positions with a very strong detent, which means this is not going to move from the position you place it in. The LED light bar is going to have a little lip placed at the bottom deliberately to aid in flipping the light open. Down here is also going to be one of the 2 magnets on the unit, with the other being placed directly below the Snap-on logo, meaning you can flip this guy open and place it on whatever ferrous surface you want to, and it's going to attach pretty firmly and not fall off. The main body of the unit is going to be made of that nice nylon material, that high density plastic, and the outside edges are going to have that high density rubber that feels very stout in the hand. It also has a USB-C charger when you're charging this guy up. Now, another feature that is not really talked about with this light is that if this light is on and you close it outright, without hitting any buttons, it will turn off, saving your battery. You don't have to worry about actually toggling off the light. It will go ahead and do that on its own. Aside from that, Snap-on is also going to give you a 1-year warranty on this light from the date of purchase. You certainly get a lot for what you pay for when it comes to the Snap-on ECARB042. Now, when we move over to the DJ1901, one thing that's very apparent is how much they intended to straight up rip off that Snap-on light. From the front view, the power button, the front LED indicator, the sides, even the way the light folds out of the unit, it folds at the same amount of degrees and has the same amount of positions. But another thing that's also very apparent is how much cheaper of a product this is. When we fold open that same light, you get a much weaker detent, meaning that with the flick of the wrist, you can freely change the position of the light, meaning you can knock this. Once you place it, you can accidentally bump it and change the position. The body of the unit feels like it's that run-of-the-mill ABS plastic, and the sides feel like that's the lower density rubber that is going to be susceptible to shop chemicals and materials. Just from me running my fingers across it, I could get some of that material to freely flake off and peel back. It's got a red LED strobe that you can trigger by holding the power button. It's got a pretty flimsy swiveling hook that pops out from the base of the bottom, and it's got a magnet here at the bottom. One might note that there is nothing covering this magnet, no cloth, no felt, so that's something to keep in mind when placing this on surfaces. And another thing to note is that the box, the packaging, says that there is supposed to be a magnet here, but this unit does not have it. You're also going to have micro USB for charging instead of USB-C like on the Snap-on. Now, another thing I like to talk about with this light is the quality of the actual LEDs. Now, the top says it's going to be a 100 lumen LED, and the work light portion says it's going to be a 450 lumen LED. So here are some side-by-side shots of the two lights, and as you can see, the DJ1901 is a much whiter light, a little harsher on the eyes in my opinion, whereas the Snap-on light has a much better color temperature when comparing these two spotlights. The Snap-on is going to have a much brighter light output than the knockoff, but that's much to be expected because the Snap-on is rated at 300 lumens here, whereas the knockoff is only rated at 100. The story gets a little more interesting when we compare the fold-out work lights of these two. The DJ1901 is going to have a max brightness output of 450 lumens, with the Snap-on coming in at 50 lumens less with its rating of 400. But even with that said, you can tell immediately that the Snap-on light just overpowers the DJ1901. But that doesn't come at too much of a detriment because the light output from the cheaper knockoff I would consider right now to be acceptable, and the color temperature of this work light is much better than that of the spotlight on it. So would I recommend the cheaper knockoff DJ1901 light? The answer to that question is a surprising yes, but it actually depends on who I'm recommending it to. So for the professional user that goes to work and makes their living off of their tools, and maybe this light will fall potentially 6 feet from a lift, 8 feet from a lift. Maybe the corner of the body will accidentally get run over. Maybe you drop this thing in a pan of oil accidentally. Maybe you slam it in a car door or in a hood. For that use case, I wouldn't absolutely not recommend this light. For that type of user, certainly you will want the Snap-on light. I would 100% recommend that Snap-on light based solely on the better build quality and better quality in the lights of that light. But on the other hand, I believe that this light shares enough functionality with the real deal to definitely make it a good value proposition, especially at the under $20 you can find this light for. So if you're the type of person who does weekend projects, or maybe afternoon projects, or maybe you have a project car, or maybe you are a mechanic but you need a light for at home, this would be the perfect light for those light duty situations. It's definitely not as good as the real deal, but it shares enough of the functionality that it will get the job done at a much lower price tag. But that's it. That's all I have for you. I'll be sure to leave all the links to everything I talked about in this video in the description down below. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more videos. If you like, you can check out my Twitter and Instagram if you're interested. You can also check out my KC Tool Coat affiliate link. It's in the description. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.